You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome to the first playoff edition of the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reese Dumaney. BC is with us as well with the mic turned on in case he has anything to add, which he will throughout this episode. Whether you're watching us on the Armchair GM Sports Network's YouTube page, whether you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the regular season because it kind of flew by. So
It did.
You know, as much as we enjoy the full grind of 68 games, this is still our favorite time of the year. Might be one of our favorite episodes to record all year. It's up there anyways. Trade deadline, draft. Yeah, probably top three. Those three, and then the playoff show. I would say that's probably top three there.
Start of the year.
Yeah, true. Yeah, top four. Yeah. That makes sense. But we've got a jam-packed show. This one is longer as always. Every single year we go over 60 minutes. Shout out to Mike Farwell. What a stud. Beauty. Voice of the Kitchener Rangers. This will be longer than 60 minutes, I can tell you that. But it was just like normal. We go back to our playoff format. It's not going to be every Tuesday, I should say. Every Monday recording, but every Tuesday release. It'll be after every round. So we will talk for 90 minutes here. Round one will carry out. Then we will chat about round one, preview round number two, and so on and so forth. So here's what the lineup is for this week's show. OHL Headlines. Not a ton to get to, but more end of season awards, milestones, stuff like that. And then some news dropped last week that 19-year-olds are headed to the AHL if they're first rounders. We're going to have a conversation about that. That'll be
fun.
Really interesting, I think. That might be
That'll
the
be a
best
fun
part
one
of the show, to be honest with you. Draft lottery simulation. This will be after our commercial break. So draft lottery simulation, the final one before the draft lottery takes place, which we've got some news on for you as well. And then we look ahead to round one, the 8 matchups, 4 in the West, 4 in the East. Before that, we're going to touch on the 4 teams that missed the playoffs and kind of run through what we would like to see from them in the offseason and maybe what some of their fans would like to see from them in the offseason. So without further ado, let's get to it and let's kick things off with Easton Rye. And it feels like we've talked about Easton Rye a number of times throughout this season. Worth it. Like, I mean, when you look at goaltenders in the OHL and not necessarily that Easton Rye has had a bounce back season. It's more the Peterborough Petes have had a bounce back season. I think Easton Rye,
he's always been.
We just saw kind of the result of a poor blue line. Just not a good team overall, and unfortunately, it doesn't make a difference what goalie's in the net. They're probably going to get shelled more times than not. But I would say Easton Rye is a big contributor as to why the Peterborough Petes got home ice advantage in round one, and why they finished as the 4 seed when a lot of people, myself included, had them from 7th, 8th, potentially 6th. So again, Easton Rye breaking more records for the Peterborough Petes.
No, absolutely. I mean, Easton Rye is great for them. 38 wins on the year. That's the record. I mean, incredible. I mean, even last year, you look back to last year where the Petes were in the standings, he still went 10, 14, and 2-1. I mean, on the worst team in the league to have a 9.2 save percentage is unbelievable. Yeah. So Easton Rye's always kept them in games. Easton Rye, I mean, you think about the Peterborough Petes in that one game with the Erie Otters. And he's an incredible goaltender. He's competitive. Not the I mean, 6 foot, not the biggest goaltenders nowadays, but he's competitive as heck. He's gonna work his butt off. You're not gonna go in there and put up a 5 spot against Easton Rye because he doesn't give up 5 goals in a game very often. He's very consistent in that way too. I've really enjoyed his development. It reminds me a lot of what Michael Simpson was like coming up through the Peterborough ranks as well. And now that you're in your prime of your career here in the Ontario Hockey League, and you look at the effectiveness on his career, I mean, he's been great.
Absolutely. Next up, breaking records. Jake O'Brien from the Brantford Bulldogs is the all-time leading scorer in Brantford Bulldogs history. Was able to help the Bulldogs secure the Hamilton Spectator Trophy with a 6-5 win over the North Bay Battalion. But he passes Patrick Thomas in way less games, and that's no disrespect to Patrick Thomas whatsoever. He was such a phenomenal player, such a great guy to talk to off the ice. But Jake O'Brien is just a talent that doesn't come around very often, and the Bulldogs have had their fair share of stars go on to the next level. You think of McTavish, albeit he was only there for half a season. Nick Lardis scoring 70 goals, and now he is fully part of the Blackhawks' plan for next season out of training camp. But Jake O'Brien, 255 career points, 73 of those are goals, 182 of those are assists. That's just in 180 games. That is
it's incredible.
Very, very impressive.
Yeah, I spoke with Jake and his father, Dan, after the game on Friday. There'll be more on the Dogcast this week for those Bulldog fans wondering, but incredible talent. I mean, it's been a pleasure to be able to cover him for the last 3 seasons in the Ontario Hockey League. I mean, he's been great. He leads by example on the ice. He shared a cool story. Patrick Thomas reaching out to him after the game. So I sent the text to Patrick Thomas. Hey, how's it going? That's cool. You sent the message to Jake. And he goes, automatic. He's been watching the Bulldogs closely. So that was kind of cool from former captain of last year, Patrick Thomas. But Jake O'Brien, I mean, incredible talent. He probably gets 100 points. I mean, he's got 93 points in 53 games. If he doesn't miss around the World Junior time, he unfortunately had that injury that he had right when he got back around the Christmas break. If he doesn't miss that time, he's got 100 points easily this year in the Ontario Hockey League, and I don't even think it's close. Jake, all he's got to do is get a little bit more thicker. A lot of time on the ice this year, but if he gets a little bit more thicker, he's going to be a player. I mean, he's so smart. I mean, to see the coaches, what they've voted about him, that's a compliment to his game without a doubt. I mean, he's one of the smartest players in the Ontario Hockey League, and no surprise coaches voted on that as well.
Yeah, no kidding. We're going to stick with the Brantford Bulldogs because the leading goal scorer this season from Brantford, and you talk about, well, what if O'Brien didn't miss the time to be at World Junior Camp, and what his point total could have looked like. Merrick Van Acker, albeit was a later addition, filling in due to an injury, but Merrick Van Acker finishes the regular season with 47 goals. That leads the league, just edging out Jack Pridham, who finished with 46, and then a little bit of a drop-off to number 3, 4, and 5 with Walton, Edwards, and Patterson, who each got 40. But you look at Merrick Van Acker, and again, he didn't miss a ton of time because of World Junior Camp. There were some bumps and bruises throughout the season for Merrick as well. You see that 60 games this season. If that's at 63 games, let's say, that's easily 3 more goals for Merrick Van Acker, and he gets
to
50.
Play Sunday.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't
blame him.
Yeah,
why not? Last kick at the can to try and get a Hattie and get to 50. Again, you make it 63 games played, he probably gets there.
Yeah, for sure. No, without a doubt. I mean, he's from the great city of the Delhi, Ontario as well. So that has something to do with it. The first almost 50 goal scorer from the Delhi, Ontario. That would have been pretty cool. But Merrick's great.
When's his picture going up in the arena, by the way? Feels like it should be up there.
Yeah, should be in the Norfolk Hall of Fame for sure. Merrick's a great talent. I mean, you look at the goal scoring ability around the net. He's been great for the Bulldogs this year. And I mean, he's been so successful around the net. He uses that body, uses that frame well around the net, and gets in good positioning a lot. And that's how you can be talented or get those goals, right? So it's cool. It's cool to see the development of Merrick Van Acker, how much he's changed. He's always showed spurts, but this year also the big thing is you didn't have to go through a rehab. Getting a full season, a full training camp, a normal off season is is huge. The only thing is, for those on YouTube that are watching right now, Merrick, you might want to pop a smile in that profile picture. The stare, it looks like it's coming right through. I feel like I got to move. That stare, I mean, wow, they caught him good. Don't blink. I feel like it's like, what's going on? I gotta say something good. I gotta say something good about him because of the.
He's gonna come through the screen and attack you.
Yeah, that looks something.
By the way, Colin Ward has already started the fun to get the Merrick Van Acker sign underneath the Delhi sign, much like Adam Henrique has in the town of Burford. They're not a city; they're a town of Burford. Apparently, Delhi is a city.
Right, we got more stoplights. We're a lot bigger than Burford. No offense to Burford.
That's true. You are. Yeah, you are. Burford's pretty small. Yeah. You're right. But points leader this year, somebody that was on nobody's radar to lead this at the beginning of the year. Now we knew who he was. We're not going to say that, there was no shot anybody saw him doing this, but I would say everyone was like, oh, really? Nikita Klepov? And yeah, Nikita Klepov, 97 points this season, 37 goals, 60 assists for an 8th place team, and you lead the league in scoring. I feel like I've used this word plenty enough, and we're 10 minutes into the show, but like that's impressive. Like
it is.
How did he do that, Colin?
His prospects game was really his coming out party. I know they had a lot of success, him and Barabanov throughout the season. They kind of showed spurts of the talent, but the prospects game in Peterborough, I think, was Nikita Klepov's coming out party for him. And I mean, 97 points on the season. So close to 100. That one game you think that he misses, right? Does he get it if he lays a full 68? But the biggest talent is about Klepov, and the one thing that really stands out to me, and for those on YouTube, they can see that right now on the screen, but for those not, +9 on the season on an eighth ranked team in the conference is tough to do. That's impressive to be a positive player like that. Obviously, you have almost 100 points. That's going to happen naturally, you would hope, but +9 for a 8th ranked team. I mean, I think this playoff series is going to be a lot closer than what people think between the Spirit and the Rangers, just off Klepov, Barabanov. I mean, this is really going to be the Klepov show to see, hey, the real season starts now on the postseason, right? So what kind of, are the points a fluke or what are they, right? So, and not saying they are. I voted them a month ago, I think, for Red Tilson before Sam O'Reilly caught fire. But I think that Nikita Klepov, with the way he's improved throughout the season, is the beauty of the OHL and the beauty of the new landscape of the league.
Absolutely. You mentioned it, a +9 for a Saginaw Spirit team that in the goal differential was a -64. They scored 228. They allowed 292. So yeah, that'll be interesting. You're right. That's kind of an X factor for Saginaw. We're talking about Klepov at 97 points leading the league. Barabanov just 6 behind at 91. So that's 2 Spirit in the top 5 in OHL points this season. So the retention, if it's there, watch out for Saginaw next year if they can find 100%. A way to get around them. Or build around them, I should say. To the goaltenders, Colin Ward's favorite category.
Love it.
We are going to go to the nation's capital for the next two awards. The goals against average champion or winner. Not sure what the best word for that is.
Got a triple crown this year.
Best stopper of pucks.
It's actually the FW Dinty Moore Trophy.
It is. Yes, I always love.
Oh, I want to win. I wish I could have won the Dinty.
That fits Colin Ward, the Dinty.
The Dinty. Oh, yeah. The awards are unreal.
But Fedorov at 207 goals against average. Edged out. Joey Costanzo had a 216. Show guest, not a big deal. But Fedorov coming in as a 17-year-old. Again, Ottawa, a team that I had missing the playoffs this season. And they were right at the top pretty well the entire way through the whole campaign. And this young man was a big reason for it, and I think an NHL club is going to be very lucky to take him in this June's draft.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, he got a triple crown this year. save percentage, goals against, and he had shutouts at 6. That's pretty cool. You get a triple crown for the goaltenders this year. That's neat. I mean, I think Ryder Fedorov, he's the reason why they're there. I mean, major reason why the Ottawa 67s had the success they did. A 17-year-old goaltender like that having 29 wins, that's tough to do. And I mean, I think it speaks for the work ethic, right? Like, I know Brandon, you interviewed him about a couple weeks ago now with the 67s, and he mentioned Marc-Andre Fleury, and you see a lot of that in his game. He's very technical. He's not the biggest guys for goaltenders. As I said about Easton Rye, 6 foot is tall, but it's not tall for goaltenders nowadays. And I mean, he's so technically sound. And I mean, you look around the league this year, what's up with 6 foot goaltenders being lights out this year? Vakari, Rye, Fedorov. I mean, maybe you don't have to be 6'7" to be a heck of a goaltender now when you look around the league. I mean, those 3 have been studs this year around the league. And Fedorov, I mean, every given night he gives the 67s a chance. That's all you can ask.
And sticking with the storyline, they combined for the least amount of goals allowed. Jaden Nelson right there too with Ryder Fedorov. Nelson's goals against average is at .233. A lot of people, I thought, probably thought he was the number one this year, Nelson, right? A 17-year-old in Fedorov, you're thinking, okay, he's going to come in, he's going to be 17-year-old, kind of get his feet wet in the Ontario Hockey League, kind of see what it's about, and whether it's college immediately after, whether he just pushes it back a year and sticks it out in the O one more year, who knows what the case would be. And Nelson would kind of take the reins this year in sort of a transition season for the 67s. But I think that, in the combination of Fedorov and then Nelson, with the years that he's put in the Ontario Hockey League, they fed off each other really well. And by years, I mean, essentially 2+ for Nelson. 23-24, he played 2 games. 24-25, he's at 33, and then 29 this season, and 25 and 26. They played off each other really well, and we saw stretches throughout the year where Dave Cameron would ride Ryder for a number of games, and then he'd ride Jaden for a number of games. And then there'd be a week or two where it'd be back and forth, and nobody really got a long leash to kind of run with it. So I think I feel safe in saying that Fedorov is your starting goaltender heading into the postseason, that first round matchup against Kingston. But I think for Dave Cameron, he's got a nice luxury, like a few coaches do in the Ontario Hockey League, where if it's Fedorov or Nelson, you feel pretty comfortable in whatever game you're in.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's an underrated award, right? It's a team award to defend the defense in front as well. I think that it speaks to itself, right? When you look at the goals against average, especially in the Ontario Hockey League, and you see Jaden Nelson right now finishing in 3rd in the goals against average in all of the OHL. So you got 2 67s in the top 3. I mean, that's impressive. And I mean, that's more of an individual stat as well that contributes to the team. And it just speaks to itself how absolutely deserving this team is for the award. I mean, they've been great. And I mean, like you mentioned, Reese, every single given night, like you saw stretches where Nelson would play a game, Fedorov would play a game, multiple games in a row. And it didn't matter what they did. They were still getting points in the standings. They were still winning those games. They were competitive in the games. And that speaks for itself. And anytime you get those games, you don't it's nice when you don't give a game away with a backup goaltender, a quote unquote backup goaltender. That's huge. And that gives you a shot, right? And I think that they've been great, this duo. And no doubt it's one of the best tandems in the league.
Yeah, some of those extra numbers that I wanted to point out for Nelson too. And completely different teams in front of him year after year, like last year compared to this year. Sorry, go ahead, Wardy.
No, we got our Twitter poll. Remember at the beginning of the year, about November, we did a Twitter poll on Ottawa's goaltending or London's goaltending for top 5 in the league. And now we got our answer for the top 5. Yeah. Maybe one. We got our answer. It was Medvedev and Gatto, and then you had Fedorov, Nelson. What duo was better? And I guess we got our answer in the 67s.
Yep. Yeah, those numbers you look at, and like I said, this kind of has to do with the team that was in front of him as well. But shots against last year, 4 more games played last year, so not a significant number, but that's still an extra 240 minutes. There we go. Yeah. Look at that math.
Get high.
But obviously that's kind of give or take a few minutes depending on certain situations. But he saw 1,027 shots last year in 33 games and allowed 114 goals. This year, and this is kind of where the team in front of him comes into play, In the 29 games, he saw only 762 shots. So that is
Big difference.
what, 250 to 300 shots less?
Yeah.
That's a big enough difference. That's more than 50 shots
You're
a
going
game.
to see those numbers now. Yeah, now you're not surprised when you see those numbers go
Yeah.
down. Get better when you give up less shots. It's a team award.
And 65 goals against on 762. So that's 697 saves compared to 913 the previous year. Again, says a lot about the blue line and the development of the 67s in front of him, but also I think that says a lot about him and that year-over-year difference for Nelson and net.
Oh, without a doubt it does. I mean, without a doubt, it's nice to see the trend, right? To see guys get better. That's the beauty of the league, to see the development of players as individuals as well. And I mean, no doubt he's gotten better throughout his OHL career.
All right, we'll go over a couple of team awards here. We're not going to spend too much time on it. These teams are in the playoffs, so we're obviously going to look at them as the show goes on. But I already mentioned it. Hamilton Bulldog or Brantford.
Nice job, Reese. There's your first penalty.
There's the five.
Wow.
Penalties.
Oh my God.
Well, you saw the spectator. You saw the
I'm gonna
Hamilton
exit
spectator.
stage left, guys. Oh,
You saw the Hamilton spectator, and
all right.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's try this again. Cut. Reboot. All right. Here we go. Hamilton Spectator Trophy champions are the Brantford Bulldogs. They've been there. This is their third year. That is embarrassing. That should not be an issue. I'll take that fine.
It's off the record.
I deserve it.
It's off the record. Hey, it's
off the record. We're on the record. What do you mean?
I'm joking with the listeners.
It is the Hamilton Spectator Trophy, so that's probably what tripped you up.
Yeah, right? That's what I thought.
100%.
Yeah, okay. All right.
You're
Thanks,
good.
guys. Thanks. You can still find me if you want, because that's embarrassing.
Team
this is
player.
year 3. But anyways. Yes, Hamilton Spectator Trophy, the Brantford Bulldogs, second time in franchise history. Of course, winning it in 2022 in Hamilton and getting home ice throughout the entire playoffs, including a Game 7 win on home ice to capture the J. Ross. And Colin, before we got to the division winners and who's taking home that hardware, there was a really good quote that you got from Jay McKee about how important it is to win the Spectator. What advantage it does give you, especially in the OHL Championship Series. Obviously, if you win the East, you win the West in the regular season. You've got home ice throughout the first 3 rounds, but then it's up to that final round where if you get that Spectator and you've got a Game 7 on home ice, that makes a huge difference. In that matchup. And you think of the difference in 2022 between First Ontario Center and the WFCU Center. In terms of noise, it really wasn't that different. Both buildings were loud. But Jamie brought up a good point about if Windsor would have won the Spectator Trophy that year.
Yeah, no, exactly like you said. 2022. I had a great chat with Jamie Key postgame. You'll hear that on the Dogcast this week as well for Bulldog fans. But mostly, honestly, like you mentioned, 2022. As things have gotten down to the wire right now, and you think about the two teams right now in the West and in the East, you look at Brantford and you look at Kitchener in the West, right? And you look at those two teams, and you're thinking, well, do you really want to go to the odd to play a Game 7? Right? You'd rather have that at home ice. You control the environment in that aspect right now, and I think that's a huge, huge advantage for the Bulldogs to have every possible Game 7 throughout this playoff run at home. You essentially control your own destiny in Game 7s for that matter. And like you mentioned, 2022, you think about that. I remember Game 6 throughout that series, how loud that was in Windsor, right? And if that Game 7 in Hamilton, 14,000 fans, I remember lined up at 4:00, the fans to get in the door. That was right on to see that. And I mean, if that doesn't happen, if it's on the flip side, are the Bulldogs OHL champions that year? I don't know. And that's why you leave no questioning, you leave no doubt in that matter, in that aspect when you get the Hamilton Spectator. I think that was why the Bulldogs really pushed for that and why they played their players on Friday night as well. Still playing for things.
Absolutely. Yeah, no kidding. And home regular season home finale too. You want to show up for the home fans, give them a nice taste going into the playoffs, especially because it's a little bit of a further walk because of a construction zone that the parking lot has turned into. Colin Ward, not a fan.
It's
actually,
it's
if
crazy.
you get there early enough, it's probably all right. But you have to be
the construction workers,
30 cars, probably. That's it. That's nothing.
yeah, there's only 3 spots per row right now, like in the main part. It's thin. It's very thin. Yeah, I don't know what the plan is, but I don't think there's going to be a car this year in front of Civic Center because there's not a lot of room to work with right now with parking. But I know the team's working on that. For Bulldog fans wondering, I know the team's working on that.
Who knows? We might get the traffic report back on the OHL and 60 podcast, just like we had when we were at the TSN studios in Hamilton. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I mean, parking report would be something. I love what Guelph does. I love how Guelph tweets out their parking.
That was awesome.
That's unbelievable that they do that. That's cool.
Yeah, I really like that too. To the division champions, the Ems Trophy, the Central Division champion Barrie Colts, second straight season that they've won the Central, and first year Dylan Smoskowitz takes home or helps the Barrie Colts organization take this home. So congratulations to him, congratulations to Marty Williamson and to all the players involved for the Barrie Colts. We got to a point in the season where it was their division to lose, and really didn't see anyone challenging them for it, and well, that's kind of how it ended. The Barrie Colts winning that by a very large margin. So congratulations to them. Obviously, with the Bulldogs winning the Spectator Trophy, they take home the Layden Trophy as East Division champions. Kind of went over the Bulldogs already, but they finished with a league high 106 points. Back-to-back division titles for the Bulldogs as well. So they've run the East Division for the last 2 years. And looking to take it a little bit further this year after a second-round exit to Oshawa in 2024-2025. In the Western Conference, the Midwest Division champion Kitchener Rangers for the first time since 2018. They collect 100 points in consecutive seasons for the first time in franchise history. The Holiday Trophy to the Kitchener Rangers and Colin Ward's
not London.
Probably favorite player this year, Sam O'Reilly, Dylan Edwards, and Jared Woolley.
Sam, yeah.
Big fans, or Colin Ward, big fans of them.
Sam O'Reilly.
And Jack Pridham, of course, 46 goals this season.
Sam O'Reilly, Red Tilson winner. I don't even think it should be close. Like Josh Brown said last week, I don't even think it should be close. Sam O'Reilly's changed in identity. There was no 100-point guys this year, so I think it makes it easy to pick the Red Tilson this year. I think Sam O'Reilly, without a doubt, what he's brought into that team. I mean, they look at their record at the deadline. I mean, at post-deadline, they barely lost. I think that, without a doubt, the Rangers' second half, I think, is the most interesting. It's the most dominating second half out of any team in the Ontario Hockey League right now, in my opinion right now. I think that they've been great. I mean, they're well coached. Their goaltending was a question mark. I think they're starting to get answers. They had a tough one with Sarnia on Friday night, but I think they're starting to get answers. I know Josh was quite confident about their goaltending last week, so that's a good sign. And then I just like their team. I really like their team. I think you look at their ads that they made this year, and I mean, they really built well. And obviously, they got some luck too, right? Get some guys back. Pridham comes back for an away year like that. Like, those are huge for you, and you need those bounces to come your way sometimes too to be good. So the Rangers have done a great job this year, and I think that they're going to be the toughest out right now in the Western Conference.
And then the West Division champion Windsor Spitfires take home the Bumbaco Trophy,
Sweet
outlasting
name.
the Flint Firebird. Not bad, eh?
Unreal name.
Really solid. The Spitfires, like I said, kind of defeating the Flint Firebirds in the race to the finish at the top of the West Division. So took until the final day. Probably doesn't make a difference to them whatsoever. They defeat a really good hockey club in the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, which also allowed the London Knights to finish fourth and get home ice in that first round against the Sioux Greyhounds. If Sioux wins that game, they finished fourth. They would get home ice against London. Yeah, funny how that works out. London sells, but still gets home ice in the first round.
Yeah.
But we've talked with Joey Costanzo. Obviously, we've had multiple conversations about the Spitfires this year. Greentree with 38 goals and 74 points. Woodall with 63 points, 12 of those goals, 51 assists. The Windsor team that we expected from the hop finished off the way we expected them to.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's funny. Joey might be reaching out to us and say, "Hey, look how hot they got there after the interview, right? You win the division." Put that in the effect list.
I mean, the quote of the 2 years of 2024 MLB season: "Don't let the Tigers get hot." Well, right across the border, don't let the Spits get hot.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to come at us with.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had a good conversation there, and we talked, and ever since then, right? They were a couple points back of Flint when he came on, and then all of a sudden, yeah. So don't want to take too much credit, Joey, but I know you hear that. I know you're feeling good after that. I know we boosted up the team morale. Got that pizza in you, the dog in you, got the pizza in you. And Windsor, great year that they've had this year. I mean, they're competitive. I mean, they're led by their captain, right? They're led by their leadership group, and Joey's one of those guys in net.
Doing it without Belchets and Villeneuve right now.
Right.
Yeah. That's
great point.
That's impressive, right? Like your prize deadline acquisition and your top prospect. Like you look around the league and you look at other teams' top draft eligible players on the competitive teams. I mean, you lose one of those guys, right? Chase Reed and Sue. You look at Caleb Malhotra and Brantford. You look at Belchets in Windsor, right? Those guys have they've been on top teams, and you look at them, and they're a big part of their team, and that's a big loss.
All right. To what might be the most interesting conversation on this week's show in all 90 minutes of it. We're about a third of the way through, just over 30 minutes in. Rumor is that 19-year-old first-round picks will be AHL eligible as of next year. So that first year they would be eligible would be last year's draft class. That included Brady Martin, Jake O'Brien, Nesbitt, etc. I think we've got two different viewpoints on this, Colin.
Yeah, I absolutely hate this.
Yeah. Go ahead. You have the floor.
No.
So for me, I think I would hate it if it was everyone. If you're drafted in the 7th round and could go to the AHL, like, I don't know about that. First rounders, I'm okay with. Like, I understand why NHL clubs would want to send them to the American Hockey League. You get into a Sam Dickinson situation. Like, was Sam Dickinson awesome with London last year? Did we enjoy watching him? Yes. I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. Was he at a level where, yeah, he was good enough to play in the OHL. I'm not going to say that. But was he too good?
He was 18.
Was he too good to be in the OHL?
No.
And, like, to me, like, so sorry, I'll rephrase that because that would have been this year, I guess. So ignore me. But there are first-round talents that they get to 19 years old and they're too good for the OHL. That's my personal opinion. And I think if you're looking to grow the game and allow more paths to success for these guys, then I'm good with first-rounders heading to the AHL at 19. Again, if we were looking at everyone who was drafted and they are AHL eligible at 19, well, okay, cool. The OHL is for, I should say the CHL in general, is for 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. Cool. And then the next 2 years, you're gone. I've got an issue with that. First rounders, I'm okay with. I think I'm more okay with it than a lot of people. Certainly more than Colin Ward. Yeah, that's where I see it. And everyone who's drafted in the first round is not ready for the AHL at 19 years old. There are certain guys that, for one, they're not tough enough. We know what the AHL is, and we understand that there is now a cap on how many players you can dress over a certain age. I understand that. They're starting to become more of a, we'd like to develop guys into the NHL, which is the whole point of the minor leagues, is to get them up to the NHL, and kind of what the GOHL has worked on with the OHL this year is the development league. But like I said, you've got 19-year-olds that have no business being in the AHL. So
100%.
That it goes on the NHL team. You hope they recognize that.
Colin, you want the list before you get going?
Hey, you know what? Off topic. Shout out to the Brantford Bulldogs and the Saginaw Spirit. Top point leaders back-to-back years. Klepov and Misa last year and this year. Van Acker, Lardis last year for the Bulldogs. Shout out to that. Yes, Brandon, put the list on. Reese actually proved my point with the veteran rule.
This would be next year's list of guys that would be eligible under this new ruling.
Okay.
You want to read them off for the audio listeners?
Yeah, we can go through them. So,
Schaefer.
So there's names on this list that were like, yeah, AHL, sure. Matthew Schaefer, Michael Misa, Caleb Denoyer, which congratulations to him. Just signed his entry-level deal. Phoenix Coyotes. Shout out to the Coyotes. Brady Martin, Jake O'Brien, Radim Mertka. Almost wasn't a Buffalo Sabre. Shout out to Colton Parayko. Ben Kindle, Jack Nesbitt, Jackson Smith, Braden Coots, Cole Retchney, Cameron Reed, and Henry Brustevich. And again, that's CHL wide. That's not just the OHL. Those are guys who
as well.
Correct. Yes, correct.
They're not on the list on YouTube.
Go ahead, Wardy. There's your list.
I absolutely hate this. You know what? And I think back to this year and last year. Easton Cowan, he was great. He was incredible in the OHL, for sure. But when I look at the debacle that the Leafs development is for Easton Cowan's game, is a complete joke. Hey, I'm not done. No, I'm not done yet. Let me talk. So Easton Cowan, they've messed him up so bad. Why do we rush guys into the NHL? As a Detroit Red Wing fan growing up, it was always a thing where guys are going to go to Grand Rapids. They're going to overdevelop in a way and then come up. That's not a thing anymore then. And the reason why I say this is because the AHL, as you mentioned, has a veteran rule. A veteran rule is in place for a reason. One, you're going to call up. So I'm going to look up Brady Martin right now. Brady Martin has spent he's been hurt this year. Obviously, World Juniors, the injury. There's been up and downs in Brady Martin's game. He's a heck of a player. He is a heck of a player, without a doubt. But does that do him good playing on the third line in the AHL in a checking role? Absolutely not. It gets you hurt. It changes your game. And I speak back to this, another Sioux Greyhound elite all-star player who was drafted by the Coyotes. Funny that the Coyotes are on the screen. But when I look back at Barrett Hayton had to play in the NHL, right? We had to get him up there. He has to play in the NHL instead of going back to Sioux. Now, all of a sudden, he's a third line checker, third line center in the NHL. That's not a bad thing, but he was never that in the OHL. In the OHL, he was a high-end prospect. He was a goal scorer. He was a captain of Team Canada at the World Juniors. Then all of a sudden, where is he in the NHL? He's a third line center. I think these guys, I think it forces guys. I don't know why there's a rush for guys to go up to the NHL. It worked. It's worked for guys. Like, I look around the league and I look at guys that have been up and down in the NHL who've come from the NHL or from the OHL. It's worked. I hate this rule. I hate it. Sorry, Reese. I think that, like, I look at this list and the guys that are the OHL, I really only think Kayshawn Aitchison is the only guy physically that can play at this level. And I don't think it's a knock at anybody right now, but I think the AHL is an under-respected league when we talk about this from the league. Like, I think that the AHL is a very tough league. It's still an incredibly tough league. I watch the Grand Rapids Griffins games, and I look at guys like Amadeus Lombardi who lit it up in Flint. You know, like, it's a grind.
Would have made his NHL debut if he didn't get hurt. Exactly,
and it's a grind. It's a grind. I look at his extra year there, and I know it's first-round picks. And this is exceeding it, but I look at Nick Lardis' year last year. If he's in the AHL, he's not playing in the NHL this year. He doesn't have the 70-goal season. He's not coming into training camp with the talk. I truly believe that.
He also wasn't a first-round pick, though.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I mentioned. I know he's not a first-round pick, but I just think that like, I look at like, I know closely with Jake O'Brien. I mentioned Brady Martin. I look at Jake O'Brien. I mean, he's a great player, but he spends a lot of time on the ice right now when he gets hit. AHL, man, you're going to get broken. I hate to say it. And I don't know why there's a rush. I don't know why there is a rush to get to the NHL. When I look around the league and I look at some of these guys and I'm thinking, man, the NHL is tough. I know Matthew Schaefer is exceeding all expectations right now, but it's not like it's Connor McDavid. Those guys, absolutely. They
Mhm.
should have exceptional status in the NHL. But
Sure. Yeah.
I just think it's tough. It's very tough. Like with the NCAA and now this, I mean, what do we do? Like,
Well, and the
it's
reason I wanted to throw my
killer.
hand in the air, and actually I've got a few points just to kind of go over here. So the AHL, I looked it up just to kind of, for anyone that doesn't know what the rules are. So the AHL veteran rule essentially restricts the number of experienced players a team can dress so that they do focus on development. Rosters must include, and this is game by game, must include 12 players with 260 or fewer professional games, while a maximum of 6 spots can be filled by veterans, quote unquote, 320 plus games, or veteran exempt 260 to 320, with specific limitations on veteran exempt. You can go look that up if you want to. So I just wanted to bring that up quickly. Second, the rush to get players to pro is one, money. And I know NIL and NCAA is a big part of that.
Yeah.
Every kid's dream is to get to the NHL. And if they think turning pro gets them there quicker,
100%. It's
whether we think it does or not, like I'm kind of arguing for it. But in terms of players who might be ready for the AHL and who aren't, I'm looking at this list.
Redeem Merca because he's
Schaefer doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's different.
I think Merca should be there. I've seen him play a lot, but
yeah, out of everyone, I haven't watched him enough, so I can't really comment on Mertka. Brandon, like you said, if you think he's ready, you're Sabres, you're all over that. If you think he's ready, then he's ready. I fully trust you on your assessment there.
What's Rochester's D look like, Brandon?
like
what pairing would he be on?
Well, he played a couple of games before he got sent back, so they sent him back to Seattle after he played a couple of weeks. Again, he was on the third pair, but like he was getting sheltered minutes as an 18-year-old.
Right? So I'll ask you this, Colin, and Brandon, you can even chime in if you'd like to get around this, where it's automatic, first rounders can go to the AHL at 19.
Yeah. You
mentioned exceptional status, Colin. We've got that in the OHL. We've got that in the WHL. We've got that in the QMJHL.
Should be for the A.
Would there be a board that should be created for this to the AHL? Instead of just
100%.
If you're in the first round and you're 19 years old, you can go to the AHL. No matter what. We don't care. Teams can send them there. What if you had to go to a board, whether it's the NHL and AHL combined, whether it's just AHL? I don't know if you roped the ECHL into this. I doubt it. But what if you went into a situation like that where you had to go in front of a board, explain your case, back it up with the numbers, with your play?
I agree.
Maybe your size plays into the factor, something like that. I'm curious how that would look, what people's thoughts would be on that.
No, then that's something I'd get on board with for sure. But letting every single team, I mean, like, I think that's a stretch. Like, some of these guys, I don't think it's fair. Like, I agree with that. If it's exceptional talent, without a doubt. Like I said, right now, when I look at the league around the Ontario Hockey League, only one guy really stands out to me, and it's Kayshawn Aitchison, because he already plays a physical game. He's already running around a little bit. Like, I think the AHL, like, he's ready for that level. I don't know. Like, that's the only guy I can think of. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's a hard jump, and I think we're going to see a lot more labeled status of bust. And maybe it's because I witnessed the Red Wings do it a bunch with Philip Zadina, like bust. Like we're
not huge fans of Michael Rasmussen.
Yeah, like Ken Holland had to rush them up, right? Like why?
Yeah.
Like why? So I think that the extra year isn't a bad thing. I think that like it's kind of a disrespect toward Major Junior, I take it as, and especially on the flip side. On the flip side, Elliot Friedman was the one who talked about it on Saturday Night Headlines And on the flip side, Elliot Friedman's the one on his show on 32 Thoughts has been talking about expanding the draft to a year older, at getting drafted at 18. So then what does this do then? So then first year players will be eligible if that ever gets changed in the next collector's bargain. That won't be this one, obviously, but the next one, that'll be the thing. And I just see the way it's going. And I look at the hockey landscape right now, and I look back to the minor hockey in this open border crap. Like, man, I used to love it playing for my hometown. Like, I would do whatever I could to play for my hometown. Like, I don't think anybody cares anymore. Like, I remember like baseball. We talked about it last week, Reese, off the record, but we talked about baseball. All these guys going to play in these city teams, these all-star teams, and paying a lot of money to go nowhere. Like, I don't like the message. And I know money is a big thing too, because you want to get rushed to get that contract. You want to get that bag right away. Yeah. And it all started in football. Football was like that in the NFL before college, all this NIL stuff. Football players, they want to go to the draft because they want to get that bag, pay for their parents, pay for their family, without a doubt. And now this is going to happen in the NHL, where guys are rushing to get to the league. There's guys that are still battling it out in the NHL. Like, I look at some guys around the league, like some of these veteran guys, like I'm looking at Jamie Benn. Jamie Benn broke Dylan Larkin's neck. Like, I'm looking at like guys like Ryan O'Reilly. Like, these guys are still in the league. Like, they're gonna, like, I think it's a dangerous slope for guys, and I don't know why we rush it, because I look at a guy like, and I know he's not a first round pick, but I look at a guy like AJ Spellicy, and I'm thinking, man, he's excelling. He's excelling. He's been good on Windsor. He's been great on Windsor. He goes to the World Juniors. He was one of the best players for the U.S. Comes back to Windsor. He's been great. Like Liam Greentree, a first-round pick. Like, I think this has been great for his development. I think this has been great. Like, Merrick Van Acker's your leading goal scorer in the NHL, in the OHL. If he's playing in the AHL this year, he's playing once every 5 games. And I can honestly say that with Chicago. Like, he's great in the OHL, but the AHL, man, he's probably a scratch. Like, I'm looking at guys around the AHL. Like, I mean, Thomas Hamra, his teammate, playing one every 3 games in Belleville. Like, it's a tough league. And I think that, like, everyone I talk to about it, like, it's great, but it puts the pressure on the teams to still make logical decisions. Don't fall in love with a player, because I know I ripped on the Leafs because you saw that with Easton Cowan, how, he's too good to play for the Marlies, but then we're only going to play him 1 in every 3 games at the time. Now, obviously he's in the lineup with them being no good.
And he's going to sit at home during the Olympics doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I would have put him in the AHL as long as I could. Let him play for the Marlies. Let him be a first-line player for them. Why you have to rush him up to the NHL? Why? And Brandon, you're seeing that with the Sabres this year. I know the Sabres had a lot of guys come up from the AHL, like that Rochester relationship. Like, Reese, we saw with Grand Rapids, like, the Red Wings have forever left guys there for too long. I just think be patient. Realistically, getting into the AHL at 20 or 19 isn't going to make a difference, in my opinion. I think 20s, you're older, you're in your 20s, you're not a teenager, you're not living at someone's house just to get by. Like, I struggle to like it.
I'm with you on that, like 2 to 3.
I think what it'll do also too is that's going to expose a lot of teams' development, and if you get it
have a lot
wrong,
more bust.
Like,
that
is. I'm not going to say that'll dig yourselves a grave by any means, but all it takes is one for it to ruin it for the rest of the organization and everyone involved, where you send a first-round pick when he's 19 years old. Let's say you draft him 11th overall. Let's just a random number. Ben Kindle on this list at number 11 at Pittsburgh. But let's say you draft to get 11th overall, send him to the AHL when he's 19. He's still in the AHL when he's 25. Well, it's like, well, what would have happened if you kept him in junior for another year? And again, that's one of those questions where nobody has any idea how that would have turned out. But the way the modern world looks at things, you screwed up one player, so you're going to screw up everyone else. And it's like, well, and that like, and it's unfortunate because not every situation's the same. There are first-round picks that don't pan out in the NHL. It happens. Nail Yakupov. unfortunately, an OHL alum, played for Sarnia, but look how highly touted he was. He had some decent years in the NHL, but and again, imports are different. Imports can still go to the AHL earlier. That's always been a thing. I think that'll continue to be a thing. But like I said, it takes one guy. It takes one team to ruin one guy, and for it to all come crumbling down. So I think, again,
you gotta be smart.
First round picks, I'm okay with. However, you need to be very, very careful about which first round picks you're sending there. Again, 2 through 7 makes 0 sense. I think if you're a 6th and 7th round pick, going to the AHL is not going to solve anything quick. Like, it's not going to get them to the NHL quicker. Those are guys that are more than likely going to need more time in the pros in the AHL. Like, we're looking at 3, 4, 5 years, unless you're Emmett Finney.
No, there's another one, right? Like, he got
again, there's an exception. It happens. Like, some guys will succeed, some guys will fail. But that's where I think you have the first rounders. It's like, I'm fine with that, but again, you got to be very, very careful. Very careful
100%.
about who actually gets sent there and how you deal with that.
Honestly, I hope a GM makes that decision to say, no, you're not ready. I'll eat it. I'll eat the media. I will eat the
You know what? I think that's what it's going to be immediely off the hop. I think you're going to see that immediately right away.
If our guy is still around, he's going to do it in Eiserman.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know that. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't it's a tough league. The AHL. I mean, you already got a roster. You have it's tough. Like, I look at some AHL teams and I'm thinking, well, Jake O'Brien right now on Coachella Valley he's on the third line. He's on the third line. He's not a third line player. He's going to get hurt. He's not going to be able to check guys at the AHL level for the whole season, a longer season like that. It's hard. It's tough. Like, I'm going to give props to a general manager who says, no, you're not ready. I'll eat it. But go to World Juniors, go play junior, go get on the scene at World Juniors. I know there's a lot of guys that don't turn out after World Juniors, but there's also a lot of guys that do turn out because of going to World Juniors and being a star. So I think that it'll be interesting to see. I just think that what's going to happen, I mean, I know it's not a college show, but what's going to happen with guys going to college? Now, oh, what, you're going for a 6-month degree? That doesn't happen. Might as well go to a community college like the old star baseball players that are still kicking. But biggest waste of money there is. But anyway, I just think it's a lot.
Yeah, well, you can go set up a booth at the Norfolk Fair and start signing autographs, so all right, we're gonna hit a break. When we come back, we're gonna run our final draft lottery simulator before the real thing takes place. We're also going to look at the bottom 4 teams, the 2 on each side who missed the playoffs, sort of improvements that we'd like to see or what they need to do in the offseason heading into 2026, 2027. And then
looking at you, Sarnia. Playoffs.
We're headed to the playoffs. 8 matchups to look forward to. That's all coming up next here on the OHL in 60 podcast.
Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from the North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with the direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
Butt ends are hockey stick grips, specifically for the top of the stick, designed to replace traditional clock tape. They're made of rubber and offer a more consistent and comfortable grip than tape, aiming to improve performance and reduce slippage. Butt ends are an alternative to regular stick tape that provide enhanced grip and comfort, are durable, reusable, and consistent with the ability to reduce vibration. The grips are available in a variety of styles, designs, colors, and even have options for specific player names. At Butt Ends, they are committed to providing the world's highest quality stick grips and continue to bring new technology and ideas with each new grip design, regardless of sport. Alex Petrangelo, Akil Thomas, Max Domi, Aiden Hill, and Tim Stutzla are just a name of few who have proudly used butt ends for peak performance at the NHL level. Check them out at buttendswithaz.com and use our referral code buttends.com/discount/armchairgm to get 10% off your order as part of our community. Engineered for greatness and performance. Butt Ends, the #1 grip in hockey.
Welcome back to the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reese Demaney along with BC. Thank you for tuning in on the Armchair GM Sports Network's YouTube page, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. We've got a draft simulator to run for the final time this season, and it stays the same again. So 1 through 4, and that'll be 1 as the lowest and 4 as the highest remaining seed. So with the highest odds to win the draft lottery at 40%, the Oshawa Generals, 42 points this season. With the 30% chance to get the first overall pick, the Erie Otters, 45 points. The team with the third highest odds to get the first overall pick, so 20%, Brampton Steelheads, 48 points. And the Sarnia Sting with a 10% chance to get the first overall pick, finished with 51 points. Colin Ward, run the simulator. Who is picking where?
So pick number 4, not moving, the Sarnia Sting, pick 4th overall in this upcoming March 24th major draft lottery simulator, the most important draft lottery simulator to date. Sarnia picks 4 in the draft. Pick number 3, the Brampton Steelhead, the Erie Otters. Oh my gosh, sorry. I was looking at the standings in the wrong picture. My iPad's dying, so I have it all on different. The Erie Otters, sorry to Brampton. The Erie Otters, they fall 1 spot in pick 3rd from the second best odds. So they'd have 20 balls in the lottery, or 30 balls in the lottery instead of 40. And they drop 1 spot in the draft lottery simulator for March 24th edition of the simulator, the most important simulator to date in the OHL. Second pick, we go to 1. The first pick in the draft, the Brampton Steelheads. They rise the most. They go up 2 spots, 2-1 from 3-1, and Oshawa picks 2. So Oshawa, tough bounce on the draft lottery simulator this season. But that's your simulator on the YouTube screen. Sarnia 4, Erie 3, Oshawa 2, Brampton 1. Well, Brampton could really use the prospect. We spoke with Zach Bodenstein on our trade deadline show and how much they need a high-end prospect that comes, that they actually get. I mean, to stay. I mean, you saw the Martones, right, that they can actually draft. I mean, other than Ivan Kovic. So it'd be nice to be able to get that guy at number 1. I mean, there's plenty of options. What's the status on Cato O'Rourke with the exceptional status rumors? That could be a big one for the next show. Maybe by next show, that could be a confirmed yes or no on his exceptional status approach. Defenseman out of Toronto. I mean, a lot of options in the draft. There's a lot of high-end talent this year in the top 4. So nevertheless, all these teams are going to get a stud, but it's just about the development and the process, because you can talk to Sarnia, who's been in the draft lottery the last, 3 years. Doesn't matter how many studs you get. You got to find a way to get over the hump.
Yeah. So let's get to that, because we're going to talk briefly here about teams that aren't in the playoffs, that whether they're missing for the first time in a while, whether they're missing for their 3rd year in a row, Sarnia. Let's briefly share what they might need to do, or what they have to do in order to not be in this conversation next year. Let's start bottom to top. So that means the bottom, Oshawa Generals. They finished 19, 45, 3-1 for a total of 42 points. They score 177 goals. They allowed 273. Power play of 19% and the penalty kill at 76.7. Obviously, they're coming off back-to-back Bobby Orr trophies, which is an accomplishment on its own. So you knew a down year was coming. Whether you thought they were going to be last or not was a different story. But for the Oshawa Generals, Colin Ward, what would you like to see from them in the offseason heading into 26-27?
It's some of the North Bay Battalion from a couple seasons ago, right? You go to the conference final every year. The Oshawa Generals go to the final back-to-back years and lose to London Knights. The Buzzsaw London Knights that they were. And you look at that, right? You think, well, you need prospects. You got to recoup those picks. They've done so with the Danford trade, with the Sandu trade, the Wang trade. Like, they've done that so far. So continue to recoup picks, develop. I like Sam Roberts, but I'm thinking more youth. Like, add to that young core. Add to your 16-year-olds, add to your 17-year-olds, and see what happens here. I think Aiden O'Donnell's a nice piece to get. Can you get Luca Di Placido for a full season next season? Because you still have another year yet. Next year in between Cornell, the school he's committed to. So you still have an extra year yet that you could get him. If you can get him, well, there's a chance to put you in the playoff hunt for next season. Continue to develop the young core. You got to get lucky. We talked about the Kitchener Rangers getting lucky, right? If the Oshawa Generals, if they get lucky, it's a nice facility there. We'll see how the showers are. No pun intended. Sorry, Oshawa. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I just think that the Oshawa Generals, if you can continue to add to this young nucleus that you got through the draft last season in the first round with Sam Roberts, which I like that pick. You make the trade for Aiden O'Donnell. You have these young, talented players. Interesting to see you get Owen Griffin back, right? You might have a decent team here next year. Just continue to stay patient with the rebuild here, and we'll see how they are next year. I don't expect them to be a 1 seed next year, but I expect them, and I don't know, and no one can expect to do the Ottawa 67s what they did, but I think this team is definitely going to be a competitive team next year, a lot more than 20th ranked in the OHL for that matter.
Next up, the Erie Otters. They finished 19th overall with a record of 18-41, 5-4 for a total of 45 points. Interesting note: they did lose more they did win less games than the Oshawa Generals this season. However, they lost more in overtime, which I don't know how much of an accomplishment that is. Just worse lottery odds, I guess. But 45 points. They scored 179 goals. They allowed 289. So that's a worse goal differential than the Oshawa Generals. They were 18.8% on the power play, 77.2% on the penalty kill. The Otters, unfortunately, back out of the playoffs, Colin. We saw a couple of years where they got back into the mix, and we thought they were on an upward trajectory, and and obviously you get a stud like Matthew Schaefer.
Yeah.
Well, you get a stud like Matthew Schaefer for only 2 years, which is really unfortunate. Not even 2 years with the injuries he had. So, are you at a position where you try again and start over, Colin? Was this year the first year of starting over? What's your take on them heading into next year?
It's a team that next year, and when we look back at the end of the year, we'll see what teams fall off. What are the Kitchener Rangers next year, right?
Right.
We know the Guelph Storm are going to be good. What are the Owen Sound Attack next season, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the Owen Sound Attack could be the Erie Otters this year without a doubt. If someone told me like Owen Sound's going to finish where Erie did this year, next season, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And I think that the Erie Otters, you look at the team, and I think I don't want to say this in a mean way. I don't mean in an assaulting way, Otter fans, but I think they need a little bit more skill. You look at their specialty teams, they lack. I like Lucas Ambrosio, a second-round pick of theirs. I think he's going to be a good player for them. I think that if you can continue to develop these guys, add a young nucleus to the team, it gives you a chance. Let's be honest. If Matthew Schaefer's not in the NHL and he's back in Erie, well, the Otters are where the London Knights are this year.
Sure.
It's that close.
I even forgot about Spence going off to Michigan too.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
Is back. Yeah, like you can't lose guys. You cannot lose guys to the NCAA, and you got to continue this growth. You got to have a process here. You got to have players committed for the following season. And if you have a good returning core group, you'll be okay. But continue to build to the core. Get a young, talented player. Hey, what an opportunity if they could get Kate O'Rourke at second overall even. Yeah. That opportunity would be crazy, right? So we'll see what happens. But I just think that you get that chance. You add to that young nucleus. You did that with Matthew Schaefer. Without a doubt, I think that they could be a competitive team next season if they can add that. And you can't lose guys to the NCAA. That hurt them. That was depleting for them for sure this offseason.
Yeah. Next up, the Brampton Steelheads finished 18th overall in the regular season, 19-39, 6-4 for a total of 48 points. They scored 164 goals, which is dead last in the Ontario Hockey League. They allowed 246 goals this season, 18.1% on the power play, 75.2% on the penalty kill. Definitely didn't help losing Jack Ivankovic to Michigan, Big Ten champs. Let's go blue. And Porter Martone to Michigan State, Michigan's little brother. That's tough, right? And you could compare that to the Erie Otters losing Schaefer, losing Spence. Like, it's very similar. Yes, not a defenseman included in that. Erie didn't lose a goaltender. However, skill-wise, it's very, very similar. And, Brampton, after a season where they were number one in the CHL ego rankings off the hop, and then they lose out in round one, and then you go to this. Like, it's just a couple of first tough years in Brampton when you expected to have a great first year in the new barn and in the new city, and then you follow it up with Ivan Kovic, unfortunately, leaving for Michigan, although it worked out for us Michigan fans, and then Martone leaving for Michigan State. It sucks for the OHL. You're absolutely right. So, and you already touched on it with our conversation with Zach Bodenstein. You got to develop through the draft. You have to. You have to if you're the Brampton Steelheads. I don't think there's really many other options. Obviously, we've seen JR make trades, but right now you've got to look at the draft.
And they've struggled in the draft. There's two things. That I think about the Brampton Steelheads this offseason. Don't get decimated by the NCAA again. If they get gutted, and I'm going to be honest with you guys right now, as I hope I'm honest throughout the show. But
I was going to say, have you been lying to us all season long?
No. But I think the Brampton Brampton Steelheads weren't a good hockey team this year. I'm just going to say it. They were not a good hockey team this year, but they worked their butts off. I thought I really did. Like, they didn't have a lot of talent, but the team worked their butts off. And then you see the goal on Sunday, Stan Coven through the legs. Like, they're starting to get skill. And I hate to say this, but Stan Coven scores a goal, and I'm thinking, oh, gosh, you imagine if he ends up in the NCAA next year? Like, you can't get decimated by the NCAA. You cannot get decimated by the NCAA. Maybe this is a business thing. Maybe this is more of a business question over on ice, more like upgrade the facility.
Yeah.
And like, I just think that, like, you gotta get on. You gotta be able to keep guys this year. And two, like you mentioned, the draft. Those are the two things I wanted to mention. The draft, yes, you got to commit to the draft this year. They have to have a good draft. Yep. They have the most important draft out of any team right now. Two, can't get decimated by the Yankees. If they get decimated by the NCAA, it's over. It's another bad year. And then all of a sudden you're Sarnia Sting.
And you're moving to Cornwall.
Yeah. Well,
playing exhibition games in Cornwall. And then maybe becoming Cornwall. Who knows? But the OHL has discussed expansion more than relocation. So we'll leave that one alone. But yeah, let's get to the Sarnia Sting, Colin. 21-38, 8-1 for a total of 51 points. They scored 205 goals. They allowed 289. They did finish the year on a 3-game winning streak, though. Might have hurt their chances for the first overall pick, which is unfortunate for the front office, but awesome for the players. 18.8% on the power play, 74.8% on the penalty kill. And the Sarnia Sting right now, Colin, are into Ice Dogs territory from fall 2019. You took the words right out of my mouth. To last year, or the year before that, I should say, 23-24. So you're into Erie Otter territory before they made the playoffs back-to-back years. That's kind of where the Sarnia Sting are. They're teetering on what Niagara and Erie were for a number of years. And obviously there have been more than those teams to go without playoffs for 3, 4, 5 years. It has happened before. But that is an issue for, first of all, fans of the London Knights and Sarnia Sting, because you want that series to be competitive every year, and it doesn't matter what team is on the ice. I mean, always it's going to provide hype, but it was a rough year for hockey in Sarnia. We're going to be blunt. 0-50 Sarnia Legionnaires, which is still higher on the power rankings than the Oshawa Legionnaires. And then the Sarnia Sting missing the playoffs, third year in a row. Colin, we know your opinion on this already. We've kind of BC and I have heard it already, but Share it with the listeners, because I think there's a few people on social media that'll agree with you.
Start the engines.
Winding it up.
Go in a circle. Advertise things. I think the Sarnia Sting. And I look back for the last couple seasons, and I ain't surprised. The old Moneyball reference. There's 50 feet of crap, and then there's us, and then the drop, and then there's us. That's the Sarnia Sting right now. They need somebody that can actually make a competent decision in the front office. That's one, without a doubt. They had Joey Sinclair, a high-end elite talent in the BCHL, who was at their training camp this year, who wanted to sign. He wanted to play for the Sarnia Sting this season, and they didn't get it done. Where's he? Brantford Bulldogs for next season, but he signs with the Brantford Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
2, back a couple seasons ago, Evan Van Gorp at their training camp. Never got a contract. Where's he? He's an OHL champion for the London Knights. That one hurts the most. That one's going to hurt the most for the Sarnia Sting, letting him go up to 402 like that. But you know what I'm like, it's a complete joke. Like, who's ever eyeing talent there doesn't know talent clearly. They need a complete overhaul in the front office. I look at their roster. When I look at guys, Diorio, high-end pick recently. He's a good player. He's a talented player. I like Mitch Young, but they should have moved him. They should have traded him when they could, when they had values for him. Why did they sit on that? Right? Why? Make those moves. They made the Lucas Fisher move. They had to make that. I saw that coming for a while, though, now. Behind the scenes, we've been talking about that deal for about since last year. We were talking about him getting moved in Sarnia. Yep. But they Lemons. They drafted him this past year, top four pick. Where, they have talent. When are we going to make decisions here and build around it? This is a complete joke. I'm at a loss for words, believe it or not, that the Sarnia Sting cannot figure it out. And I don't know what the deal is with Sarnia, maybe because it is out there. It's not like players from the States are just going to come over the border and play for you. But I struggle to see Sarnia this poor. I don't get that. They've got the barn. They've got the market. There.
I love you've got everything there. You're right. Is it just because you can't evaluate talent properly? I don't know. They've got everything there. The college is right there. You've got tons of parking that's free. The mall's just down the street. Sure, you're not downtown, but
Chuck's at it.
Also, what's downtown Sarnia?
Nothing.
There's a Chuck's right there. There's slots and casino, but obviously that's not for the players. That's for their parents that come to town to watch them play. But you've got everything there that you need to succeed. You're right. What the hell's going on behind the scenes?
Hey, hockey, this doesn't really, it happens a lot in hockey, but not as often as as baseball fans, not as often as baseball, where baseball, the first person to get fired a lot of the times after the general manager is the farm director. And I don't know if it's a scouting, you don't usually see the scouting overhauled in hockey like you do in other sports, like baseball. Football is pretty consistent, like hockey, basketball. It's usually baseball is probably the most, where the most pressure. But hockey, you gotta these decisions, eventually there's got to be a time where you got to eat that. You got to eat those decisions. And hey, credit to the Niagara Ice Dogs. They couldn't make a decision to save their lives other than make a trade with London. Then all of a sudden they get Frankie Vola in. He makes decisions and boom, right? Now all of a sudden they have a decent deadline. I pick up a Chromiak, Wang. Obviously their teams played like crap in the second half, and I've called them ice frauds for the last 3 weeks. And they haven't done anything about it, so they're a fraud. But at the same point, at least they've started to make competent decisions publicly. I mean, maybe the Penn Center movie theater disagrees, but I just think that.
Well, they're playing the same opponent this year.
Oh gosh. At least they're making decisions though now. At least it feels like there's decisions being made. Where Sarnia, it's like, man, you had this guy in your hands. You had Van Gorp, OHL champion, Evan Van Gorp. You had him. You can't tell me Evan Van Gorp would have been a big role. Then the worst comes to worst. You go make the trade with London this year, and you give London a good player. Now they get home ice in the first round. Like, I don't think, like I said, I like the Fisher trade. Probably ask me that a year from now as this pattern continues. I'm going to say it's a horrible trade because look at the last couple trades here with the Sting. But you let Sinclair get away after he was definitely interested. You signed Sinclair, all of a sudden you got 5 new guys that are committed to the NCAA that are from the BCHL that could play a regular role in your lineup. You sign those guys, all of a sudden you got at least 5 to 10 more players coming. I'm not even kidding, with possibly 10. Then you have a core. Then you have a chance to compete. Until you make competent decisions, the Sarnia Sting are going to be in the basement, and you got to make a decision. Ownership here, like new ownership, that's going to be interesting too. They just got new ownership this past year. That's going to be very interesting to see what their approach is starting now in the offseason, because I think something's going to be done before the draft, no doubt, being in June. Something has to be done before the draft.
I can't believe we just spent 8 to 10 minutes on the Sarnia Sting, but we had some laughs, so it was okay.
Yeah.
Got some news in the draft lottery as well. It's going to be taking place the night of the OHL Cup on the Wednesday, whatever next Wednesday is.
The
first or second.
April Fools. Are you April Fools in us?
Nope. It's going to be a thing.
All right. I know. I'm just joking.
Breaking news on the OHL in 60 podcast. There you go. There you go, everyone. Get ready for it. All right, let's get to the playoffs because we like talking about that more than
Gold teams.
Why am I not surprised you'd have like a Lotto 649 shirt or something?
Well, the Red Wings. The Red Wings have been in there for the last billion years. They're looking on pace to go back in the lottery this year, but they don't have a pick. So
sucks.
Woo! Hey.
What? Mr. 14 years out of the playoffs?
Hey, I'm worried we're gonna join them.
But hey, at least our Stanley Cup photos in color, unlike Toronto's. Yeah. So there we go. We have that going for us. We're going to start with the Western. We're going to start with the Western Conference. Just a few points on each matchup in round number 1. So we'll start with the Kitchener Rangers and the Saginaw Spirit. Saginaw 26-34, 4-4 this season for a total of 60 points. The Kitchener Rangers 47-14, 5-2 with 101 points this year. They were the Midwest Division champions. Obviously, they get the number 1 overall seed in the Western Conference as well. What are you looking for in this series? Is it easy to say, Kitchener in 4 or 5? Are you looking at something different, Colin? What's your take on it?
I think this could go either way. I think this series is going to go quick in favor of the Rangers. I don't think it's going to be more than 5 games. In fact, I have the Rangers in 5. But I think that the one thing that's going to be interesting, I think Saginaw's high-scoring offense up front, Klepov, Barabanov, can steal a game. Can the goaltending steal a game, though, on top of the goals? And can Kitchener put together 4 consistent wins where you don't give up multiple goals? Because if you get in a track meet, that does not favor the Rangers in this game, in this series, especially as you go to the road city. That's when the series starts. I expect the Rangers to take the first 2 games and drop game 3, win 4 and 5, and the Rangers are on to the second round. I think the depth of the Rangers is stronger. I think that it'll be interesting to see how the Spirit want to match up with that to the best of their abilities. I mean, if you load up one line, well, then, okay, I'm putting Sam O'Reilly line or the Gabe Sherratt line as my shutdown line with Gabe Sherratt, I guess, against their top line. I'm letting O'Reilly go have a blast and score all the goals he wants, and him, Edwards, continue to build that momentum that we've saw in the regular season translate to the postseason. Rangers in 5.
Yeah. We did run Twitter polls as well before recording the show this week, and wanted to get the fans' take on who they think would win each playoff matchup. Brandon, we will start with Kitchener and Saginaw. What do the fans have to say?
97% Kitchener Rangers.
Makes sense.
Pretty well unanimous that Kitchener is going to take that one. You look at the 2-7 matchup. It's the Windsor Spitfires and the Guelph Storm. Guelph Storm finishing the season with a 28-35, 2-3 record for a total of 61 points. just ahead of the Saginaw Spirit, who finished with 60. The Windsor Spitfires 44, 15, 6, and 3 for a total of 97 points. Obviously, the Guelph Storm more or less looking forward to next season. However, this is big to get into the postseason, get those young players experience in the playoffs, albeit the first round is way different than what potentially a third and fourth round could look like next year, what the Memorial Cup tournament will look like next year. But to get their feet wet in the postseason, I think that's the ultimate goal for the Guelph Storm. And obviously for the Spitfires, well, you're going for a championship. Two different teams at two stages in their organizational development. And is it Windsor? Is it Guelph? Are we looking at 4, 5, 6, 7? What do you think? Damn it. I just said 6, 7. That's another fine. I'm up to 2 now. Oh, man. Colin, what's your take on this one? Let's forget I said that.
Is the mic on? I got Windsor in 5. Guelph special teams really concerns me to the point where I'm literally thinking of Windsor in 4. You got to score on the power play. The power play for Guelph, if you get power play opportunities against a tough Windsor team and you don't score on the power play, you ain't winning. I think that the Guelph Storm are in tough here. It's going to be a great experience to their young players, but you're going to need Jovanovski to have a heck of a series and steal you a couple to have a chance. And I don't know if he can steal 4 games in a series against the Windsor Spitfires. I got Windsor in 5.
Brandon, what do the fans have to say?
90% for Windsor.
Wow.
Guelph Storm at 10%.
First round's always high.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Next up, the Flint Firebirds and Owen Sound Attack. It is a 3-6 matchup in the Western Conference. Flint Firebirds finishing at 44, 17, 4, and 3 for a total of 95 points. The Owen Sound Attack, 27, 32, 4, and 5 for 63 points on the season. Again, I think two teams that are headed in different directions over the next couple of years. I think Flint has a chance to be good again next year. I think the Owen Sound Attack have a lot of soul searching to do once this season is over. What do you look at for this series, Colin?
If Vakari plays 4 really good games like he has in the regular season, Firebirds in 4. Only sweep I have in the Western Conference is the Flint Firebirds over the Owen Sound Attack. Owen Sound, I mean, I see two different teams. I see pre-deadline and post-deadline, and I don't like what I see right now, personally. They don't pass the eye test. I'm going to go Flint in 4. Vakari, if he plays 4 really good games, why wouldn't Flint win in 4?
Yeah. Brandon, what do the fans have to say?
The fans for this one are Flint Firebirds 87%.
Wow, so they're thinking against me, kind of, but for me.
They're pretty well on the same page, I would say.
Yeah, true.
Next up is the 4-5 matchup in the Western Conference. The London Knights and the Sioux Greyhounds, just 1 point separation between the two. London gets home ice. The Knights finishing 40, 23, 4, and 1 for 85 points. That is a rebuilding year for the London Knights, for anyone wondering out there. 39, 23, 1, and 5 were the Sioux Greyhounds at 84 points.
Reese, do you remember one of the first times we ever talked OHL hockey together at TSN 1150? One of the comments that I made about the London Knights. The year after 2018.
I'm sure I will when you remind me.
So I'll never forget. It's a Tuesday morning, and I will never forget this. When all I mentioned is, I was in college, I was a Knights fan, and it was a year after they got swept in the first round, Owen Sound. And I said, oh, it's nice that the Knights are good this year. And Reese Dumaney gives me the look.
Yeah, that was winter 2019, like January, February 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's so nice that the Knights are good this year. The look I got, it's like, this year. That's the London Knights.
What?
This has never been more true.
It was hilarious because you're a Knights fan interning in a Hamilton Bulldogs market. At the time, I was also interning / working with the Ice Dogs in a Hamilton Bulldogs market. So you have the London Knights, which a lot of markets don't like the London Knights. You've got the Niagara Ice Dogs, which looking at 2012 and 2016. That's why they don't like the London Knights. I mean, Hamilton was very grateful for London for 2018 for Robert Thomas, but then also Connor McMichael going back the other way. But no, that was just kind of funny the way it worked out, because I think the first day that you were there, I had my Ice Dogs hat on because I had to go into the office afterwards. And then you had your Knights hat on, and we both kind of looked at each other like,
Drop the gloves.
I'm not sure if this is going to work out or not. And then what?
Next thing you know, we're talking baseball.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The one time they talked baseball on TSN 1150 was with us, so that was funny.
Yeah.
But
Spring
back
training.
to Sault Ste. Marie in London. Does it? And I'll ask you this more of like kind of how you see this series, but more in the lens of, is there an advantage with home ice in this series? Because Budweiser Gardens and GFL Memorial Gardens are two completely different buildings. Do you see the Knights now winning this series because they have home ice, despite them technically, like a lot of people would view them as the underdog, because Sault Ste. Marie on paper has a better roster. However, the factor of home ice in London might counter that. So do you view it any different based on who gets home ice in this series?
I think this is I think this year the 4-5 matchup, like plenty of years, is the most narrowest it could be. It could go either way. I think the East is a little bit more decided than the West, without a doubt, with London Sioux. I know it's playoffs, and when we're in the playoffs, we talk about mental things. The Maple Leafs can't get over the Boston Bruins. Love that memory. You can't get over certain humps. The New York Flakies can't get over the Toronto Blue Jays or the Detroit Tigers.
I would say more the Tigers. Blue Jays, it was one
year.
time.
Yeah. Well, there you go, right? Like, they can't get over the Tigers or the Red Sox sometimes. But this one is for Carter George.
Was it an 0-3 deficit for the Red Sox against the Yankees?
Neat.
Yeah, they came back.
Neat.
Right,
that.
that's an all-timer. Clip that one. Neat. Unreal, Brandon. You know I'm just joking. I wish I had 27
Not
rings.
really.
I'd be going around. My head wouldn't even fit in the North America if the Blue Jays had somehow 27 wins or rings. But I just think with this, Carter George has 2 wins against the London Knights in his career. Mentally, we know what that's all about in sports. You see it every year in the postseason. In the postseason, we see this all the time. Like I said, the Leafs can't get over the Boston Bruins. Now the Florida Panthers. Like, is Carter George the Leafs to the London Knights, Boston Bruins? We'll find out. Can he get over that? And I know this could be dumb that I'm saying this, but I saw his record against the London Knights, and I'm thinking, well, you never know. It's a tough arena to play in. A Friday night at the Canada Life Place. I miss saying the Bud. Friday night at the Bud just sounded better.
Yeah.
Or the JLC. But I just think a Friday, Sunday, first 2 games in London, 9,000 strong. Here we go. And obviously this London team isn't the London team, but I will say this. I think my 0.5% out of 100, so 95% doesn't. The longer the London Knights can hang around in this series, the more it favors them. And there's one thing I truly believe, and I think we both agree on this, that the Sioux Greyhounds will without a doubt get out-coached by Dale Hunter in this first round. The coaching, I don't agree with the Sioux philosophy for coaching. And I truly believe Dale Hunter puts something together like he has every single season. He's got a good plan, except for that Owen Sound series. Other than that, I truly believe if you let Dale Hunter cook, not Russell Wilson in Denver style, if you let Dale Hunter cook, London Knights are going to win this in 7 games. Because if it goes longer, the Knights win the series.
So in other words, if it goes past 5, you
Yes.
like the London Knights more than the Sioux Greyhounds. Okay.
100%, because you look at the high-end
that's fair.
skill on Sioux. You look at the high-end skill on Sioux, right? Carter George, Brady Martin. You get them in a series. If they go down 1-0, go down 2-1.
Yeah.
They go down 2-1. We're going 7. And that favors the London Knights to a T. The longer the series goes, the more it favors the London Knights. If it's beyond 5 games, the London Knights, without a doubt, are winning this series, 100%.
Brandon, what are the fans saying?
This is a shocker here. The
All right.
Sioux Greyhound, 66%, London 34%.
Those are all those haters.
You know what? I'm not really surprised about that, to be honest with you. I think Sioux's favored in this one. But
100% they are.
I also understand the logic of, well, yeah, you get 6 or 7, and then potentially a 7th, you're forced to go into CLP. Yeah, that doesn't sound the same. And play against the London Knights. Like, again, you're right. It's all mental. Like, again, on paper, the Sioux Greyhounds are a better team. But if they get in their own heads and they get intimidated by the Bud, and I don't expect that to be the case for top guys like Martin, like Reed, like
what's the World Juniors for Carter George?
Minosa, yeah. So who knows?
Greatest.
But yeah, it wasn't awesome. But also, we talked about that at Christmas. But
who do you say? Who do you say, Reese?
No, I'm on your side. If it's 4 or 5, I don't think it'll be 4. But if it's 4 or 5, I'm going Sioux. You're right. But if it's longer, if they get into a Game 7, it's London. I think London wins Game 7.
I agree.
100% I think 6 is a toss-up, but obviously it depends on who's leading the series. But if it's 7 games, I'm taking London all day.
Me too. I say London in 7 too, and it's the only Game 7 I have, I think, this round. Or this, yeah.
I've got a couple, actually. We'll get to that in just a second. So we'll switch to the Eastern Conference. 1 versus 8. It is the Hamilton. Damn it!
That's your third penalty. I think you've reached the threshold.
That is 3. Man, what do I owe? What is it? 25 cents a fine?
Well, no,
here, I'll buy the first round of ginger ales next time we go out. How about that? I'll take that. That's 3 drinks. I got you guys. The Brantford Bulldogs take on the Sudbury Wolves. Sudbury Wolves finishing with a 27-39 2-0 record for a total of 56 points. The Brantford Bulldogs 48-10 8-2. Just one regulation win or overtime or shootout loss away from being the first team to have single-digit regulation losses since the best team in CHL history, the 2004-2005 London Knights. So obviously we saw the lineup they played on Sunday in Brampton. It was nowhere near a playoff roster. No offense to anybody in the lineup, but some of those names out of the lineup, that is not the lineup you're going to see on Friday night. But the 1 versus 8 matchup in this one, similar to what you see with Kitchener-Saginaw. Colin, do you think it'll be shorter? Do you think it could be longer? What do you think?
I honestly think if Sudbury takes penalties, Brantford in 4. It's not even close. You can't give this Bulldogs team a power play after power play, or you're going to lose.
So is there a number per game? Like if Sudbury takes 3 or more, 3 power they're not plays. Winning.
Well, you look at the game in this week. If you take 3 power plays, there's a free goal you're giving the Bulldogs. If you give them 3 power play, they're for sure going to go 1 for 3. They never go 0 for 3.
Which that's what they were in the regular season. So
yeah,
makes sense.
So I think
checks out.
So I think you can't give penalty. You can't give freebies. You can't give freebies. So you can't get frustrated. I think that's going to be tough in this series. I'm going to say Brantford in 4 or 5. Jetlachenko being back's huge. It's going to be interesting. I expect to see this Bulldog team to really let it all out here. But it talks, it's like there's been a lot of hiding this year for their 10 losses in regulation. They've hit a lot system-wise this year, and I expect them to show a little bit here in this first round with the Sudbury Wolves. And I think that you look at the Kearns matchup, they signed Kearns and Sudbury. He's a little tougher guy. He's a big, tough guy on the back end. College commit. He's played 13 games regular season.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine and dandy if it's going to be a tough physical series. You're going to look for it, but you got to remember Brantford has Ryder Bolton. That cancels out. I think that
that gets rid of any worry about anything happening to your stars like it happened to Nick Lars last year.
Exactly. That's why I think that the Bulldogs in all aspects are the better team. 4 or 5 games, Brantford.
Brandon, what are the fans saying?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah, why?
94%. Brantford.
Why wouldn't I want to know? I thought you were going to say people voted for Sudbury.
Well, 6% of people did.
That's unfortunate.
You probably know 3 of them on the opposing broadcast.
That'll be fun.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not going to say anything. I'll get in trouble. The 2-7 matchup in the Eastern Conference is a rematch of last year. The Barrie Colts against the Niagara Ice Dogs. Barrie Colts finished 45-14, 5-4 on the season for a total of 99 points. The Ice Dogs at 32-34-2 for a total of 70 points. These two teams did meet on the weekend. It was a fairly regular Barrie Colts lineup, I would say, compared to an Ice Dogs team that was not looking normal. Now, we are not 100% sure on the status of Ryan Roberk for this one, unless you have an update for us, Brandon.
I do not.
Okay. So, again, he hasn't played in a month, about that, something like that. Yeah, a little bit more. Kayshawn Aitchison, we expect a 2-game suspension to be announced for him exceeding the fighting limit. So expect him out for games 1 and 2. Does this series go any differently than it did last year, Colin?
No, it does not. Like,
do you think it's shorter? Think it's longer? Think it's the same?
Yermolenko looked pretty good on Saturday night. I really thought that was a very dumb incident out of Kayshawn Aitchison. I did not like that at all out of Kayshawn, just because you're better than that. Know the situation. I know BC, you sent us a couple messages on the play, and like, it's just not smart. It's not an educated decision in a time where you got to make an educated decision. With the playoffs on the line, you cannot afford to do that.
Well, and they also couldn't move up or down. They were locked in 2. They had already lost the conference.
Why is he playing?
The division. True.
Yeah.
Good point. I wondered that also.
Why are they playing? Like, you know who they're playing. So the Barrie Colts, to me, showed the Niagara Ice Dogs a little bit more system stuff. I don't think Barrie's hid much throughout the year. When you watch them against the 20th ranked team or the first ranked team, they look the exact same system wise. So I don't think they've really hid much. But I think that Barrie Colts will win in 5. I think the Ice Dogs will win 1. And I think it'll be one of the first 2 in Barrie. Somehow they're going to steal one in Barrie and lose at home.
All right. Brandon, what are the fans saying?
91% for the Barrie Colts.
Checks out. Now the 3-6 matchup in the Eastern Conference, the Ottawa 67s and the Kingston Frontenacs. First time in a while. These two teams will hook up in the postseason, which geographically, they're thrilled. No kidding. Ottawa 47-15, 3-3 for a total of 100 points. Kingston Frontenacs 33-33-2 for a total of 71. Colin, you're a big fan of Troy Mann's system, the way they play. We went on at lengths chatting about Ottawa's goaltending earlier on in the show. Who do you like? How long do you think it'll be?
I'm intrigued to see how Kingston approaches this series, because no doubt if Ottawa plays their game, they'll win quick. But Kingston, sorry. Wow, there we go. Kingston, we've saw so many different approaches to them this year. We saw them be lights out one night. Then we saw them be really bad some games. If the Kingston Frontenacs can stick to the system, can play that Troy Mann hockey, I think this goes 6. I really do. I also believe that the Ottawa 67s may have – I truly believe in this series we see both goalies play in the series for the Ottawa 67s. I truly believe both series – both
I
goalies.
Can see that.
Honestly, even Kingston, Betts and Minchak. Like, even both teams, I could see both. I could see all 4 goalies getting into this series. In this one, I think Ottawa goes up early, and I think Kingston wins 1 on the road, 1 at home, losing 6 games at home.
Brandon, what are the fans saying?
Ottawa 67s, 85%.
Now the 4-5 matchup in the Eastern Conference to wrap things up. It is the Peterborough Petes getting home ice advantage on the North Bay Battalion. Petes went 40-24-1-3 for a total of 84 points. The North Bay Battalion 38-26-3-1. This is my other series. I think it's going to go 7 games. I think North Bay is going to win this series. I think it'll be.
I agree.
And that'll be nightmare travel for Brantford, by the way. Starting off with Sudbury, and then you get North Bay next. That's a tough travel, first 2 rounds. I'm going with North Bay in this one in 7 games. I think it's going to be a really entertaining series. I think Mike McIver coming back and getting some reps in before the end of the regular season is huge to get those games in. Now, was North Bay bad while he was out? No. They played really well actually and put themselves in a position to be in contention for home ice in the last week of the regular season. But I think that just adds something. But East and Rye, let's see. Sure, the regular season was a nice way to play and how well he did and setting the record. But now it's time to really show up in the playoffs. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup and goal. But what do you have for this one, Colin?
No, I agree. As a goaltender, I love this series for goalies. McIver versus Rye. That's unbelievable for goalies in the OHL. And I truly think that the North Bay Battalion win this series. I think that the Peterborough Petes, and I think I like the discipline from the staff and the team of North Bay. Ryan Houlihan and staff do a great job there. And I think that the Petes, you see 2 different teams too many times. You see a high-flying, highly skilled team one night where they look really good. But then you see another night where it's like a UFC fight. And it's like, What are we doing here? It's an ice rink with square corners, not an octagon.
And one thing I'll point out to your point as well. Peterborough better on the power play, 22.9 compared to 21.5. Better on the penalty kill, 80.9 compared to 75%. However, 734 penalty minutes for the battalion, 865 for the Petes.
That's the thing.
That will play a huge role in this series.
Big time. No, absolutely. And that's what I look at. If it depends what Pete's team. That's why I have it going 7 to where it can go any way possible, and I'll give credit to the Petes. It's going to be a series. And honestly, when we say 7 games, it can go either way at that rate. And I think that I agree. I think North Bay Battalion win in 7. I think McIver is going to be exceptional after what we saw last postseason. I think Easton Rye is going to be exceptional. I think these are going to be low-scoring games, physical games, and I think this is going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be Western Conference hockey in the East. I cannot wait. Get your tickets. I mean, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, the first 3 games. That's pretty good. 3 games over with right away. Like, I think it's going to be a blast. Get your tickets because these are going to be heck of a hockey games.
Yeah, North Bay also scoring more goals than Peterborough, 237. Oh, not a lot. 237 to 235. Also giving up less. 215 goals against for North Bay, 231 for Peterborough. So we'll see. It'll be really fun. I'm really excited for this one. Brandon, what are the fans saying for this matchup? I feel like this is going to be our closest one.
It's really close right now. North Bay 54%, Peterborough 46%. I will
say.
Don't count out Jack Lisson either, guys. He's played 40 games this year.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think he'll get in. I think Lisson will get in. Lisson was a big part of the reason why they were in where they are in the standings. Yeah. I mean, he stepped up when McIver went down.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to that. So again, there's your matchups for round number 1 in the OHL playoffs. There is a bracket contest going on, so visit the OHL website for more information on that. And for us, again, we're on our playoff schedule, so we will be releasing our next show once round 1 is over. We'll do a full recap of the first round of the playoffs and look ahead to the conference semifinal matchups. So until then, well, it's finally here, and enjoy it, everyone. This is the result of a full 68-game grind for 16 clubs, and only one is headed out west for the Memorial Cup. So it should be a fun ride, as it always is year by year. For anyone watching us on YouTube, on the Armchair GM Sports Network, thank you very much for tuning in and putting up with our faces for 100 minutes. And for everyone listening on your favorite podcast platform, thank you so much for tuning in as always. For BC, for Colin Ward, I'm Reese Dumaney. Enjoy the playoffs. It's finally here. We will chat again after round 1 here on the OHL in 60 podcast.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.